Morning. Today we will discuss regarding gear manufacturing methods. So generally gears are used extensively for transmission of power. They find application in automobiles, gearboxes, oil engines, machine tools, industrial machinery, agricultural machinery, geared motors, etc. To meet the strenuous service conditions, the gears should have robust construction, reliable performance, high efficiency, economy, and long life. Also, the gears should be fatigue free and free from high stresses to avoid their frequent failures. The gear drives should be free from noise, chatter, and should ensure high load carrying capacity at constant velocity ratio. To meet all the above conditions, the gear manufacture has become a highly specialized field. Now, the gear manufacturing process. So, there are two categories, main categories: forming and machining. So, gears that can be manufactured by forming operation and machining operation. So, in a forming operations, you can manufacture a gear by using casting process, sintering process, injection molding, extrusion, cold drawing, stamping, preforming, forging. Then in a machining category, you can generate a gear by roughing process, form milling, rack generation, gear shaping, and hobbing process. That machining process that are categorized or classified into two categories, that is roughing surface, roughing, and finishing. So in a finishing, there are several methods: shaving, grinding, burnishing, lapping, and honing processes. So this is the classification of the gear manufacturing process. So the first process, that is forming process, that we will see, that is a extrusion. So extrusion, it is a manufacturing process where material is drawn through a die, giving a material a new cross sectional shape that is actually constant throughout the length of the material. So the hot material enclosed in a container is forced to flow through the die is called extrusion. So production of small size accurate gears from soft materials like brass, aluminum is done by extrusion. So for mass production, a bar is extruded through a forming die in such a way that the entire surface of a bar will carry the gear tooth along the length of the bar. Then small lengths are cut from this bar, and a small length is equal to the thickness of the required gear. So the extrusion process is used to form the teeth on a long rods, which are then cut into usable lengths and machines for bores and keyways, etc. So you can see in the diagram. So these are the extruded part, and there are the teeth on a whole length of the bar. So the bar is extruded through a forming die in such a way that the entire surface of bar will carry the gear tooth along the length of the bar, and then small length of the gears that are cut according to the width of the gear. So this is the extrusion. So this is the process of forming a gear by extrusion process. Then stamping. So this method is used for production of small and thin gears out of sheet metal for small and light gear mechanisms. This mechanism is mostly used in toys, watches, and other domestic appliances. This method is suitable for mass production. So you can see in the application that is used in a clock gears and watch gears, etc. So that is a precision stamping. And stamping, general stamping, that is toys, then hand operated machine gears, low speed mechanism gears, slow speed mechanism gears. So this is a stamp gear, the gear that is formed by the stamping operation, or it is generated, or it is produced from the metal sheet or the sheet metal. Then powder metallurgy. So this process is useful for production of very small, highly accurate and finished gears. So up to 25 diameter can be easily produced by powder metallurgy process. Gears produced by this process are normally used in precise instruments. So the metal powder is pressed in a dice to convert into tooth shape, after which the product is sintered. Sintered means it is heated at high temperature. After sintering, the gear may be coined to increase density and surface finish. So the the last process, that is a coining process, it is a finishing process. It is a finishing operation of powder metallurgy part. So this method is usually used only for small gears. So this is a powder metallurgy process. So these are the steps in forming the gear by powder metallurgy process: blended powder, then compacting, pre-sintering, then the repress or coining, resinter, and formation of gear. Then another process that is you can use to form the gear, that is a rolling process. So both hot rolling and cold rolling are used to manufacture the gears. In hot rolling, hot gear blank is rotated against a master gear. So in between two gears there is a blank. The hot gear blank is rotated against the master gear to produce the required teeth. The force between the master gear and blank makes the metal to flow and obtain the shape and size of the teeth of the master gear. So this is a rolling process. Then casting, a cavity of desired shape of gear is made in the sand and molten metal it is poured in that cavity. After cooling and solidification, the object taken out, it is called a casting, or it will be a gear. So sand molds or permanent metal molds are used to produce the cast iron gears. So the gears produced by casting are rough, inaccurate and weak. Then one more process that you can use, it is a machining process. It is widely used method of making gears. In this, cast or forged gear blanks are machined to produce the teeth of the desired shape and size along their periphery. So for gear machining or cutting, following methods are used: forming method, template method and generating method. So gears made by machining process or generating process. So in that, first we will see the gear milling process. So in a gear milling or gear cutting process, the cutter is formed according to the shape of the tooth. You can see at the top there is a arbor. On a arbor there is a form relieved cutter, it is mounted, and at the bottom there is a gear blank on which the tooth has to be formed, and that blank it is held in a dividing mechanism or dividing head mechanism. So dividing head mechanism that is used to do the equal parts of the periphery. So the space to be removed between the two adjacent teeth by form milling cutter. The cutter is attached on the mandrel and connected to the dividing head. Then, so this is the indexing method. So in universal dividing head that is used. So this is a mechanism that is used to rotate the gear blank. So dividing head mechanism that is used to divide the periphery of the gear blank into equal parts. So that will be done with the help of, so after cutting one gear space, then you have to rotate the gear at some distance. So that can be done with the help of universal dividing head, so that we can divide the periphery of the work into equal parts. So that is done with the help of universal dividing head. So you can see this is a universal dividing head. So it is used to obtain greater number of divisions that cannot be obtained by direct indexing. So you can divide the periphery of the work by any number. It may be odd, it may be even. So the process of gear milling is, for cutting a gear on a milling machine, the gear blank is supported between dead center and live center in the indexing head. The cutter is mounted on an arbor of the milling machine. The geometric center of the cutter must be aligned exactly vertically with the center line of the indexing head spindle. The table of the machine is moved upward until the cutter just touches the periphery of the gear blank. Then the vertical feed dial is set to 0. So that is a 0 adjustment. Now you can you can put the depth of cut by moving the table in a upward direction. The table is then moved horizontally until the cutter clears the gear blank. The table is then moved upward by an amount equal to the full depth of the gear tooth. The vertical movement may be less if the gear is to be cut in two or more passes. After this, longitudinal feed of the table is engaged. The gear blank moves under the rotating cutter and tooth space is cut. After this, the movement of the table is reversed so that the cutter again clears the gear blank. The gear blank is then indexed to the next position for cutting the second tooth space. So that is a gear milling process. So this is actually a process. So this is a side view that is shown. So indexing that is shown after each cut. At the top there is a rotating tool that is called a form relief cutter, and it is rotating. So this gear blank, it is held in a chuck of the dividing head mechanism on a table. So that dividing head mechanism that is mounted on a table of the milling machine. So first zero adjustment it is done. So you can move the table in a upward direction until the cutter just touches the periphery of the work. Then you have to move the table in a longitudinal direction until the work must pass the cutter. Then you have to give the depth of cut by moving the table in a upward direction, and then again you have to pass the table against the rotating cutter until the full depth of the gear tooth that will be obtained. So this is a process. Then gear hobbing process. So hobbing is the process of generating gear tooth teeth by means of rotating cutter called a hub. So the tool that is used for producing the gear, it is called a hub or the hob. It is a continuous indexing process in which both the cutting tool and the workpiece rotate in a constant relationship while the hub is being fed into the work. The hub and the gear blank are connected by means of a proper change gears. The ratio of hub and blank speed is such that during one revolution of the hub, the blank turns through as many teeth. The teeth of the hub cut into the workpiece in successive order and each in a slightly different position. So a hub may be briefly described as a fluted steel worm equipped with a proper clearance for cutting action. Flutes are cut across the threads, you can see. So this is a tool that is used for forming the teeth in a gear blank. So that is called a hub. So this is a tool. So you can see the diagram on a right hand side. The bottom part it is a hub, and the top part it is a gear blank on which you have to produce the teeth. Fluids are cut across the threads, forming rack-shaped cutting teeth. In hubbing operation, the gear and hub rotate together as though they are in mesh. The gear blank rotates slowly and the hub rapidly. The hub and the gear blank are connected by means of a proper change gears. All motions in hubbing are rotary and no indexing is involved in a hubbing operation. To start cutting a thread, so see the another diagram. To start cutting a thread, the hub is made to clear the blank. It is then moved inwards to obtain the required tool depth. So you can see there is a, on the right hand side there is a hub. You have to move the hub inward to obtain required tooth depth. After the tooth depth is reached, the hub is fed in a direction parallel to the axis of rotation of the gear, that is axial hubbing. So you can see the another diagram. This is the gear blank and this is a hub, the tool that is used to form the teeth on a gear blank. Both, that is hub as well as the gear blank, it is rotated at specific speed and both are in mesh. So after the tooth depth is reached, the hub is fed in a direction parallel with the axis of rotation of the gear, that is called the axial hubbing. As the gear blank rotates, the teeth are generated and the feed of the hub across the face of the blank extend the teeth to the desired toothpaste width. Then gear shaping. So you can see gear shaping process. So this is a tool that is on the top and there is a gear blank at the bottom. The both motions are the rotary motions, and the shaping tool that can be reciprocated in upward or downward direction. So gear shaping uses a cutting tool in the shape of the gear which is reciprocated axially across the gear blank to cut the teeth while the blank rotates around the shaper tool. It is the true shape generation process in that the gear shape tool cuts itself into the mesh with the gear blank. So there are several processes of gear shaping process. By gear shaping by disc cutter. The disc cutter shape confirms the gear tooth shape. Each gear needs separate cutter. However, with 8 to 10 standard cutters, gears from 121 to 120 teeth can be cut with fair accuracy. So this is a gear shaping operation by using disc cutter. So both are rotating and the feed it is given to the disc cutter. Actually it is a reciprocating motion. Then gear shaping by end mill cutter. The end mill cutter shape confirms the gear tooth shape. Each tooth is cut at a time and then index for the next tooth space for cutting. A set of 10 cutters will do for 12 to 120 teeth gears suited for small volume production of low precision gears. Then rack type cutter. The rack cutter generating process is also called gear shaping process. In this method, the generating cutter has the form of basic rack for a gear to be generated. The cutting action is similar to a shaping process. The cutter reciprocates rapidly and removes metal only during the cutting stroke. The blank is rotated slowly but uniformly about its axis. And between each cutting stroke of the cutter advances along its length at a speed equal to the rolling speed of the matching pitch lines. When the cutter and the blank have rolled a distance equal to one pitch of the blank, the motion of the blank is arrested. The cutter is withdrawn from the blank to give the relief to the cutting edges, and the cutter is returned to its starting position. The blank is next indexed and the next cut is started following the same procedure. So you can see the diagram. So this is a rack type cutter, and at the bottom you can see there is a gear blank. So there is a reciprocating action of the cutter, rack type cutter. So it is a step by step process. It is shown here. So in a step number 1, how the rack started to reciprocate is shown. Then formation of gear in second, third and fourth. Then gear shaping by pinion type cutter. So pinion type cutter generating process is fundamentally the same as the rack cutter generating process, and instead of using rack cutter, it uses a pinion to generate a tooth profile. The cutting cycle is commenced after the cutter is fed radically into the gear blank equal to the depth of the tooth required. The cutter is then given reciprocating cutting motion parallel to its axis similar to the rack cutter, and cutter and the blank are made to rotate slowly about their axis at speeds which are equal to the matching pitch surfaces. So you can see here. So this is a gear blank and this is a pinion shaped cutter. So both are rotating, and that pinion shaped cutter have a reciprocating cutting motion in a upward or downward direction to form a teeth on a gear blank. So when the two gears that are rotating simultaneously, the pinion shaped cutter that will reciprocate from upward or downward direction. Then gear finishing process, in that we will see the gear grinding and gear shaving process. So gear grinding, there are 3 types: form grinding, then the generation grinding, and grinding by threaded wheel. So the form grinding, so involute shape grinding disc is used to finish each teeth one by one. Indexing mechanism used to rotate the blank. Sometimes 2 disc wheels are used to reduce time. So you can see the top diagram, that is a form grinding. So this is a grinding disc that is mounted at the top, and it is that grinding disc that is used to finish each teeth one by one. Then generation grinding. So spiral bevel gears are grinded by this method. Grinding wheel is also moved in a tooth space. And third, grinding by threaded wheel. Similar to hobbing process, grinding wheel is having helical threads. Then gear grinding process, another slide that is shown, and the abrasive grinding wheel that is shown, that is mounted on a arbor. So it is a finishing process to remove considerable amount of metal after heat treatment to obtain predetermined quality gear. So 3 processes that we have already seen: form wheel grinding, generation grinding, and threaded wheel grinding. So this is a process. First is form wheel grinding. So this is a grinding wheel that is moved in a tooth space to finish the gears. Then generation grinding, second diagram, and third is threaded wheel grinding. So it is just like a hobbing process. So both the gears as well as that tool that is used for the grinding worm, it is rotated to finish the gear teeth. Then shaving process. So gear shaving process can be linear or rotary. In the linear type, rack type cutter is used, while the rotary method employs the pinion cutter. The cutter teeth are serrated to form a series of cutting edges. To obtain relative sliding action between the tooth profile, the work gear and shaving cutter are set up in the gear shaving machine with cross axis. Due to the sliding action, very small amount of material from the gear tooth is removed and finished profile surface is obtained. So this is a process, and this is a cutter that is used for the shaving process. And the last diagram, the 3D picture it is shown, 3D image it is shown for the very small amount of material that can be removed, or the edges that are removed from the tooth surface. So this is regarding the gear manufacturing methods. Thank you.